opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Barletta and Ranking Member DeFazio. Welcome to today's hearing about the use of independent leasing authority. On behalf of Subcommittee Chairman Barletta and I, who requested 2 reports from GAO on the use of independent leasing authority by federal agencies and the use of purchase options in leasing. This hearing highlights some of the findings from both of these reports. I'm especially interested in the assessment of how GSA manages the civilian real estate inventory and its ability to advise other parts of the federal government on leasing commercial office space and warehouse space. In 1949, President Harry Truman signed a law that created the modern-day GSA and consolidated several federal agencies into one agency tasked with providing workplaces for federal employees and administering supplies. Since GSA was created, it has grown into a real estate giant that leases over 8,000 property assets, totaling 191 million rentable square feet with annual costs of $5.6 billion. However, in January 2003, GAO designated federal real property management as a high-risk area due in part to the federal government's over-reliance on costly leasing. The federal government's real estate portfolio was in need of oversight and corrective action. To that end, the Office of Management and Budget issued a memoranda in 2012, 2013, and 2015 requiring federal agencies to freeze and reduce their space footprint. This administration's sustained efforts, coupled with the efforts of this subcommittee, have resulted in millions of square footage of underutilized and unneeded property being shed from the federal real estate inventory. These efforts have saved money and have allowed precious resources to be better used to achieve agency missions. While there has been progress in really right-sizing the federal real estate inventory, last February, the leadership of this committee wrote to GAO asking them to study how agencies with their own leasing authority independent of GSA are exercising that authority. As detailed earlier by the chairman, many of these agencies were not subject to the freeze the footprint or even reduce the footprint directives from OMB. Though this group of agencies tended to get lease rates that were similar to GSA, many of them often acquired more space than GSA would typically allow. Additionally, GAO has indicated that some of the agencies that have independent leasing authority don't necessarily have the legal authority to sign a long-term operating lease. Many of the agencies that GAO have examined are doing a good job, but there is still room for improvement and the opportunity to find additional savings in future lease agreements. Today's testimony and dialogue should serve as guideposts to how agencies exercise their independent leasing authority going forward and how more effective use of purchase options can lower the cost of housing federal agencies further. I look forward to moving on with this discussion. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.